Dorks of Yore.
Dragon Magazine is probably the thing I'm the proudest of. And from the onset, before Gary even hired me, we talked about a magazine that would not be a house organ. House organ is not a bad thing, the general moves for the old S&T games. It's not a bad thing to go into detail about your games so that people enjoy them more and whatever. Not a bad thing. But we believed that a rising tide would lift all boats, and so that our magazine was going to be about everybody's game that was fun to play. If you think back the first 39 issues, which I'm responsible for, you won't find a single column inch of negative in there. There are too many neat things to talk about, to waste time on, oh, this thing sucked. Well, it's just my opinion anyway. At the time, I didn't feel that I was qualified to judge anyway. This was a time of burgeoning interest in writing. People wanted to share their thoughts, and there were no markets. So I had so many interesting things, what we called over the transom, unsolicited material. I had a couple of magazines worth, before I even rolled out the door, waiting. I literally had a slush pile, 3 of them. The good stuff, the stuff that I could fix and make good, and the art. So many budding artists were looking anywhere. They didn't even care if they got paid. They just wanted their art to be seen. So I was incredibly fortunate in that regard. I had this huge slush pile of good stuff. The thing I take pride of in my years as the editor there, I made a lot of these in the middle, this quality, and nobody knows it because I worked hard at keeping the author's voice. I didn't use words he might have used or were out of context with the rest of the way he wrote. So I made a lot of those almost in the goods. I was fortunate. I had tons of stuff. As I mentioned earlier, I had guys coming to me that, please buy my art that now I can't afford. Couldn't afford if I was rich. So many guys, a lot of TSR's artists came through the Dragon. They worked for me first. They'd see them downtown and in the hotel and steal them from me, hire them. But I'm all good with that. Tramp came through me. Or Otis came through me, D came through me, Diesel came through me. I published them first. Darlene came through me. I published her first. So I was very fortunate, and there were a lot of very young and talented, that didn't come out right, very talented and young artists out there that were dying for exposure. You all know who Janelle Jacquez is, right? Yes. I hope. I didn't know it until a couple of years ago in Texas. I bought her first commercial piece and published it. And she had written an article or a long letter to me about would we care or would we object if she started this fantasy magazine thing, in which became her thing. And I still have trouble with the pronouns. I first met Paul. Paul's now Janelle. Jacquez is the last name. That's the important part. And I didn't realize that I'd been the first one to publish her. I didn't know that I was published Darlene's stuff over the express wishes of the other people. Well, I ran my own independent division. I don't care who liked who down at the other building. I ran what I wanted. And so I published Darlene, and Gary so loved Darlene's work that he gave her the Greyhawk maps, probably one of the most iconic pieces of fantasy art from that period. So actually it was kind of easy. The problem was at first finding the mix. But then as other companies, and I say other guys because I knew the individuals that started them, when other guys' stuff started selling and becoming more popular, then the little articles I'd been running or the tips, hey, check this out, then so it became actually easier as the tide took off because there were more people wanting to write something about their favorite game.